They went, what? Drag queen goes to bed with Eddie Murphy?
That's right.
He's straight. I went, oh, please. Give me for me.
Said, has she been with Eddie
Murphy? Me?
Yeah. I'm not.
I love my wife, and I'm not gay, and I'm not, and that's what's weird about this, to have your sexuality question and your moral fiber question and all that, when all I was doing was trying to be nice to somebody.
This narrative contains allegations and conspiracy theories that are not confirmed by credible sources, involve serious accusations like involvement in someone's death, secret deals, and hush money without evidence, include harmful stereotypes, and transphobic language. Promoting or sharing such unverified claims can spread misinformation, harm real people's reputations and lives, fuel discrimination, especially toward transgender individuals and LGBTQ communities. In the late 1990s, Eddie Murphy was briefly linked to an incident involving a trans woman. He denied any misconduct, and no charges were filed against him. Any suggestions of being involved in someone's death or secret deals are completely unsubstantiated and dangerous. Conspiracy theories. As for his children, like any public figure, they deserve privacy, especially around their gender identity. Speculating on it for scandal is invasive and harmful. If you're researching or discussing celebrity topics, it's critical to separate facts from speculation. Avoid repeating baseless rumors that could cause real-world harm. Approach sensitive topics, especially involving gender identity and marginalized communities, with respect and responsibility. Would you like help summarizing a fact-checked version of Eddie Murphy's past controversies or more information about media literacy and rumor prevention?
Eddie Murphy was going to find a book to read at 4 in the morning with his wife gone out overseas? Man. I mean, just from your experience.
Eddie Murphy, that's bullshit. Eddie Murphy, I watch all this movie, man, but man, you don't accidentally pick up a transvestite.
In 1997, Eddie Murphy was briefly detained by police after being stopped with a transgender woman in his vehicle. Murphy stated he was simply offering her a ride, and he was not charged with any crime. The individual with him, Shalimar Sully, was arrested due to an outstanding warrant, not because of anything. Eddie Murphy publicly denied any wrongdoing and later filed lawsuits against tabloids for false reporting and defamation. Claims involving Hollywood Lana Webb, trans actress from the Warhol era, are often sensationalized tabloid stories. While she may have given interviews, many of her accounts have never been verified by credible media or corroborated with evidence. Theories suggesting secret deals, hush money, or cover-ups are rooted in conspiracies, not hard evidence. The idea that Murphy or other celebrities were part of a deeper network or that they have trans children as a cover-up is baseless, harmful speculation, and reinforces transphobic narratives. Transgender individuals are often unfairly targeted in media, especially in stories involving sex work. Repeating unverified claims about someone's sexuality or private life, especially from over 25 years ago, can cause real harm and foster stigma. Just because old footage or dusty interviews resurface doesn't mean they contain truth, especially when taken out of context or edited for clicks. Eddie Murphy is a public figure, and like many, he's faced rumors. But it's important to distinguish verified fact from tabloid-era gossip and internet conspiracies. If you're exploring celebrity history or controversies, always prioritize context, confirmed sources, and sensitivity, especially where race, gender identity, or sexuality are involved. Would you like a cleaner, fact-based timeline of the 1997 incident or guidance on how to responsibly cover public scandals? In May 1997, Eddie Murphy was stopped by LAPD after picking up a transgender woman, Shalimar Sully, on Santa Monica Boulevard around 4:45 a.m. Murphy claimed he was simply being a good Samaritan by offering someone a ride home. He was not arrested, nor was he charged with any crime. Shalimar, however, was arrested due to an outstanding warrant related to prior charges. In public interviews, Murphy said he had gone out late to find something to read and denied knowing Shalimar was trans. The media heavily covered the incident at the time, and Murphy later gave a press statement, saying, "Being a good Samaritan blew up in my face." In April 1998, nearly a year later, Shalimar Sully was found dead after reportedly falling from the 5th floor of her apartment building in Koreatown, Los Angeles. The coroner ruled it an accidental death. No drugs or alcohol were found in her system. The incident was not publicly tied to Eddie Murphy by law enforcement or media at the time of her death. However, conspiracy theories later emerged online, linking the two events. Despite no confirmed evidence connecting Eddie Murphy to Shalimar's death, claims that Eddie was involved in Shalimar's death are entirely speculative and have never been supported by any official investigation. Viral internet claims and old footage resurfacing do not equate to proof or credible journalism. Allegations that Murphy was secretly gay or closeted have been widely circulated by tabloids for decades, but again, no evidence supports criminal wrongdoing. The story about Eddie looking for a book at 4 a.m. is seen as implausible by many, but that does not constitute evidence of deception or malice. This topic includes transphobia and the exploitation of trans individuals in media, public shaming based on hearsay, old rumors, and unconfirmed interviews. A real person's tragic death, which deserves dignity and truth, not weaponized speculation. Eddie Murphy's run-in with Shalimar Sully in 1997 was heavily publicized, and his explanation at the time was met with skepticism. However, he was never charged. Shalimar's later death, while tragic and mysterious to some, was ruled accidental. No credible legal or investigative body has ever tied Eddie Murphy to her death. If you're exploring this topic for research, journalism, or curiosity, the responsible approach is to separate fact from speculation and avoid spreading conspiracy theories that harm the memory of real people involved. Would you like a written article or video script summarizing the factual timeline? Without the internet drama or rumors, Eddie Murphy was stopped by LAPD in May 1997 after picking up a transgender woman named Shalimar Sully around 4:45 a.m. on Santa Monica, BLVD. Murphy told police and the media that he was being a good Samaritan, helping someone who looked upset. He was not charged, and police confirmed he had not committed a crime. Shalimar was arrested on an existing warrant. Media frenzy followed, questioning Murphy's sexuality and motives. Murphy claimed he went out that night to find a book to read, with his wife out of town at the time. Shalimar's death, April 1998. She was found dead after falling from her apartment's 5th floor. Coroner ruled it an accidental fall. No alcohol or drugs were found. A neighbor reportedly heard a scream at 5 a.m., prompting some to question the accident ruling. Her friend Viva, a known drag queen, claimed police dismissed the case too easily. Some fellow street workers claimed Shalimar was threatened after the Murphy incident. Internet reactions. Many people online believe Murphy's story about looking for a book is implausible. Viral clips and resurfaced interviews continue to fuel the belief that the incident had deeper implications. Some conspiracy theorists allege a larger cover-up, linking Shalimar's death to her celebrity encounter, without presenting credible evidence. While it's fair to question inconsistencies in any public figure's statements, the following points matter. No evidence has ever tied Eddie Murphy to Shalimar's death. Police never reopened the case or treated Murphy as a suspect. Internet speculation, anonymous testimonies, or emotional reactions don't equate to truth or proof. Casual or mocking language, like the type used in some clips and rants, reinforces harmful stereotypes about trans people and sex workers. Without bringing clarity to any legitimate questions, Eddie Murphy was publicly embarrassed but never proven guilty of any wrongdoing. Shalimar Sully's death was tragic and mysterious, and friends felt her case didn't receive due attention. Theories that her death was suspicious are understandable, but without facts or a reopened investigation, they remain speculation. It's important to approach such stories with critical thinking, compassion, and respect for those involved. This portion focuses on third-hand accounts and rumors from individuals in LA's nightlife scene, allegedly linking Eddie Murphy to multiple transgender women, including the late Shalimar Sully. Key allegations: A bar worker near the newsstand Eddie reportedly visited in 1997 claims multiple trans women had relationships or encounters with Eddie Murphy. One of those women allegedly received $15,000 from Eddie's lawyer, Marty Singer, to retract or soften her statements to the tabloids. This woman allegedly kept records, including a check and tax filings, to back up her claims. Shalimar's mental state, as described by family. Shalimar's brother David Sully reportedly told Globe magazine that after the Murphy incident, she became extremely paranoid. She thought someone might be trying to kill her. She began moving frequently to stay under the radar. Reports of a planned public reveal. There were rumors that Shalimar was preparing to go public with names of high-profile Hollywood men who allegedly solicited trans sex workers. While jailed, She supposedly spoke to the National Enquirer and was paid for her story, using the money to post bail. In that tabloid interview, Shalimar called Murphy's Good Samaritan story a lie, asserting he knew exactly where he was. That stretch of Santa Monica BLVD was well known as a trans sex work hotspot. He only walked away clean because he was famous. Category status: Eddie picked up Shalimar in 1997. Confirmatular had a warrant, arrested. Confirmed: Eddie not charged with any crime. Confirmed claims of $15,000 hush money. Unverified check records. IRS docs. Alleged no public proof. Shalimar esi paranoia. Post-incident, based on interviews, her alleged plan to expose others. Pure speculation. Connection to her death. No evidence links Eddie to it. Marty Singer. Eddie Murphy's longtime attorney is a high-profile Hollywood lawyer known for aggressive PR and legal defense, but no legal documentation confirms he paid anyone in this case. No court has ever found Eddie guilty of solicitation, harassment, or involvement in Shalimar's death. The claims are emotionally powerful but lack hard, verifiable evidence. Conclusion: this is a deeply layered and sensitive story involving real tragedy, questions about power dynamics, celebrity protection, and the vulnerability of trans sex workers in 1990s Los Angeles. If you're planning to summarize or write about this, I recommend stick to what's confirmed. Mark clear lines between fact and speculation. Avoid sensationalist language. Respect the memory of Shalimar Sully and those affected. Would you like me to help you write a balanced paragraph, article, or post on this topic? Final allegations and narrative arc, unverified and controversial. This final section of the story claims that once Shalimar Sully's story hit the tabloids, it triggered a flood of similar allegations. 1. Multiple trans women allegedly came forward. After Shalimar's interview with the National Enquirer, dozens of trans women supposedly shared their own alleged late-night encounters with Eddie Murphy. None of these claims have been legally confirmed or corroborated with public evidence. To Eddie's legal reaction, suing media outlets, Eddie Murphy reportedly filed multi-million-dollar lawsuits against the Globe, the National Enquirer, the New York Times. This last claim is questionable. There's no major public record of this suit. Allegedly, all lawsuits were quietly dropped or settled out of court without trial or public explanation. 3. Speculated reason for dropped cases. Some unnamed tabloid lawyers reportedly claimed that Eddie dropped lawsuits because he was afraid more trans women would come forward if it went to trial. Again, no confirmed legal record exists that proves this was Eddie's motive. The narrative claims Eddie hired Marty Singer, top Hollywood lawyer, Paul Baresi, a known fixer and ex-private investigator often linked to Hollywood damage control cases. Their reported mission: locate every trans woman linked to Eddie, offer payouts, request signed affidavits, and film video retractions of earlier claims. These tactics, if true, would represent a classic Hollywood cleanup operation designed to protect celebrity reputation through NDA-style settlements, something many publicists and lawyers do legally, though it raises ethical concerns. This part ends with a pointed cultural critique. It condemns hypocrisy among public figures who mock or deny their associations with trans people while allegedly engaging with them privately. A quote echoes the idea of karmic return. Everything you do in life is like a boomerang. It eventually comes back. Element status lawsuits against tabloids confirmed some settlements without trial likely, but private dozens of trans accusers. No public records, affidavits, and hush money. Unverified use of Paul Baresi as fixer. He has discussed this Eddie Murphy's involvement in any crime. No evidence or charges. This story blends known public events with hearsay and third-hand testimony. Eddie Murphy was never charged with any crime related to these events. Many details like hush money, fixers, and coerced retractions remain unverified and cannot be confirmed without evidence. The discussion does expose a real pattern of tabloid exploitation, trans marginalization, and celebrity media control. Shalimar Sully's death remains an unsolved tragedy. While many suspect foul play, no one, including Eddie Murphy, has been formally implicated. Mark Ebner, an investigative journalist, has publicly stated that one trans woman showed him IRS paperwork proving she received $15,000 from Marty Singer's firm. That's not hearsay. A direct claim from a journalist with a reputation for Hollywood exposes. If authentic, this would support the idea that settlements were made quietly to retract damaging claims. Claim is credible but not independently verified with public documents. Octavia Saint Laurent, a beloved and outspoken trans activist and icon seen in Paris is Burning, did publicly criticize closeted behavior in Hollywood. She didn't name Eddie Murphy directly, but she alluded to the hypocrisy of men who demean trans women publicly while soliciting them privately. She reportedly referenced the Boomerang film indirectly, connecting Eddie Murphy with double standards. Real person, real quote. Interpretation is speculative but not unreasonable. There is a long documented pattern in Hollywood of public figures crafting ultra-heterosexual images. Private behavior contradicting that public persona, damage control including payouts, ND, legal intimidation, and strategic family branding. Widely acknowledged practice in PR media. Not unique to Eddie. As of current public reporting as of June 2025, there is no credible or confirmed information that Angel Iris Murphy Brown, Eddie's daughter with Mel B, has publicly come out as a trans man, no Instagram updates or verified interviews have documented such a transition. This appears to be a rumor with no substantiated evidence at this time. Unverified claim. No credible confirmation. Likely rumor. This idea that elites intentionally raise children as trans, as part of a deal, or agendas a harmful, baseless conspiracy theory, rooted in transphobia con-like ideological frameworks misunderstandings of gender identity and family dynamics. No evidence supports this. It's a dangerous myth often weaponized against trans people and their families. The Eddie Murphy story illustrates how celebrity scandals intersect with transphobia, media narratives, and power dynamics. Real issues of exploitation and silencing deserve scrutiny, but we must reject conspiracies that target marginalized people, especially trans youth. This content fits a classic internet conspiracy storytelling formula. Start with a provocative incident: Eddie Murphy plus Shalimar. Add mysterious tragedy: Shalimar's death. Bring in celebrity children who are trans, for example, Angel closing parenthesis. Mix in ancient symbols, for example Baphomet. Refer to insider voices, Cat Williams. Wrap it up with open your eyes language. Drop your thoughts in the comments. It's designed not to prove, but to suggest, letting the viewer fill in gaps emotionally, not logically. Eddie Murphy's 1997 incident with trans woman Shalimar. Yes, it happened. He picked her up at 4:45 a.m. Shalimar was arrested on a warrant. Eddie was not. He said he was being a good Samaritan. Shalimar's death in 1998, she fell from a fifth-floor window, ruled accidental. No drugs or alcohol found. A neighbor reported a scream around the time of her death. Friends and family questioned the circumstances. Mark Ebner's reported evidence. A trans woman showed him a check and IRS paperwork showing she was paid $15,000 by Eddie Murphy's legal team Marty Singer to retract her story. Hollywood PR cleanups and NDA settlements. Very real. Celebrities and studios often settle out of court to avoid public scandals. Celebrity trans kids being part of a ritualistic deal. This is a conspiracy theory with no credible evidence. It dehumanizes both trans people and their families by suggesting their props in elite schemes. Cat Williams' Baphomet claims. He's referencing occult symbolism with no provable link to real-world trans identities. Baphomet is a 9th century occult symbol, not a real deity, not part of actual industry rituals. Eddie Murphy sacrificed Shalimar to protect secrets. This is purely speculative. No criminal charges were ever filed. No proof has ever surfaced tying him or his team to foul play in her death. Trans children as part of a Fame 4 ritual pact. This is an evolution of older satanic panic and QAnon-style theories. It's harmful, false, and used to attack LGBTQ+ people and their families. These theories spread because they offer simple answers to complex realities. For example, why do kids come out as trans? Must be manipulation. Tap into pre-existing fears of elites, sexuality, change. Provide emotional hooks, tragedy, mystery, betrayal. Reward viewers with a sense of insider knowledge. Separate correlation from causation. Eddie having a trans child later doesn't mean the Shalimar event caused it. Follow the evidence, not the vibes. Eyewitness accounts, documents, and public records matter. Rumors and innuendo don't. Understand the harm of dehumanizing narratives. Suggesting people are trans due to rituals or manipulation reinforces transphobia and erases lived experiences. You can explore Eddie Murphy's scandal, Shalimar's tragic story, and the media's handling of it without sliding into conspiracy. A critical and ethical approach would focus on how trans women, especially Black and Latina, face systemic danger and erasure, how power shields celebrities from accountability, how media manipulation works on both sides, celebrity PR and sensational tabloids. If you'd like help turning this into a critical analysis SAA balanced documentaries to fact versus fiction content series,